adult drivers. Let's go ahead and get it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and review this. I'm going to go ahead and get it going. And I'm going to go through about the first 40. And then we're going to work as a team to get this done. I want good energy. So these knowledge test questions are very important. To limit your risk during the first 6 months of supervised driving, you should avoid carrying passengers. The more people you carry in the car, the more likely you are to be distracted. One person is a 44% increase. 2 people are 88%. And then over 2 people, you're over 132%. So you want to reduce the number of passengers you have in the car. Number 2, if you cannot prevent a person who has been drinking from driving, you should refuse to ride with them. But there's something called peer pressure. And a lot of you are not strong enough to say, I can't ride with you, or you shouldn't be riding with me. You have identified a driver ahead of you as being possible drunk driver. The first thing you should do is A, you want to maintain a safe following distance, because people who are consuming alcohol tend to focus on taillights, and you want to be as safe as possible. Next, country roads are the most dangerous roadways for young drivers. They're the least understood. There's a soft shoulder. A lot of you will go too fast. You'll hug the right. You can roll your car into the ditch. It's very hard to see. Next, when do fatal crashes, young drivers most often occur? This is daytime on dry roads. You would think that it is like in the rain or snow, but it's on clear roads. Next, impaired depth perception. And drinking driving causes the inability to judge distance properly. The alcohol relaxes the muscle in your eye and you can't focus. The most dangerous time period for young driver fatal car crashes is the 2 to 5 time period. Over 80% of young driver fatal car crashes occur on what type of roads? Fair weather. On what 2 days of the week are the most common for fatal car crashes? Friday and Saturday. The percentage of young male drivers involved in fatal crashes is at an increase. It's higher. Which of the following is the self-imposed anxiety related to aggressive driving? I'm going to be late if I don't hurry up. The number one reason why you speed is because you're late. If you're late to work, you're speeding. If you're late coming home, you're speeding. If you're late to school, you are speeding. So if you get used to speeding, this becomes a normal occurrence. Research indicates that young driver brains are not fully developed until what age? It is 25. So between that 15 to 25, your brain is still developed. You're going to do irrational things. You're going to get upset if you break up with someone. You're going to get mad if you get fired from your work, but it's your fault because you kept showing up late, because you had to drop your little sister off and you couldn't speed through the back neighborhood and you caught 4 lights. Your boss warned you, if you're late a 5th time, I'm terminating you. So you lost your job, but you learned a valuable lesson. For every 500 miles driven, the average driver has at least 1 near collision. This is for all of us. Your group tends to have more because you don't have experience behind you. If you drive a little bit slower, give yourself a little bit of time, text your boss, hey, I'm running late. I do apologize. I have to drop off my little sister. There's traffic. I will be there as soon as possible. Most of your bosses will be like, yes, no problem. Research indicates that errors of inexperience account for the largest percentage of young driver fatal car crashes. If you must leave the roadway at a high rate of speed, you should search for an open zone. Open zone is like an open space. Which of the following is not a principle for controlling the consequences of a crash? Hitting a vehicle rather than a stationary one. The largest single category of errors for young drivers that leads to a crash is improper visual search. You're not looking far enough ahead. You're not looking to the left. You're not looking to the right. I'm going to go to 40 and then it's a wrap for me. You are traveling on a 2-lane road and an oncoming driver drifts into your lane and is headed straight towards you. What is a good rule to remember? You can almost always miss an obstacle more quickly than you can stop. So you want to try to side swipe. Next. You are about to be struck from behind at a stop sign. What should you do? You want to apply the park brake. If you decide to leave the roadway to avoid a hazard or an emergency, you should keep in mind that you may be unable to re-enter the roadway because of the shoulder conditions. All states have rules for alcohol, medication, over the counter. So these next questions deal with that. So you're going to have some questions on your test that are very specific. So please make note of this. Taking 2 or more drugs together will create and increase its effects. It's called synergy. The first principle in controlling the consequences of a crash is to avoid a head-on crash. They're the most dangerous. The crumple zone of a vehicle allows it to reduce the force of impact. Your front right bumper, your left rear bumper, all 4 bumpers, the corners, they are designed to crumple in. It's called the crumple zone. On average, after how many drinks will start the effects of a person's ability to drive? It is from the first one. Straddling the center lane or driving too slow or drifting into a lane are common signs of a drinking driver. Inertia is the main reason for safety belts. They'll keep you from being thrown out, but a lot of drivers do not wear those. When a vehicle hits a fixed object like a tree, it is important fact in determining how hard it hits the tree. It is the speed of the vehicle. And we know beginning drivers tend to speed. Rubbernecking is a term used to describe a person who is maintaining eye contact with the crash scene. So you're rearing someone. The danger of driving and using marijuana is that it lessens your ability to maintain the vehicle in the lane. And some states have marijuana, but you have to be 21. And if your parent uses for medical purposes or medicinal purposes and they smoke and you're in the house, you're going to inhale that. And then if you have an accident, you can be pulled over, they're going to test you, and then that is a felony. So you got to be really careful in those situations. The best time to address a distraction that can affect driving is before the driving begins. A driver's goal should be to eliminate all distractions. Tell your friends stop talking. Focus on the road. Or better yet, get new friends who are going to listen to you. To reduce your distraction while driving, before putting the vehicle into motion, you should secure all loose objects, your backpack, baseball, basketball, whatever you're carrying in the car. Aggressive driving is driving in a pushy, bold, or selfie manner. Talking on the cell phone while driving makes you as impaired as a drunk driver with a BAC of 0.06. Please make sure you write this down and remember it. Put a check mark by it. For young drivers, the problem being distracted is made worse by the simple fact of lack of experience. It takes 10 years for the average driver to learn. So if you guys are 16 or 15, if you're 16, 26. If you're 15, 25. If you're 17, 27. So you can't rush time. For 16-year-old drivers, the risk of a fatal car crash involving increases is more than 150% if there are more than 3 passengers in the car. Self-imposed anxieties related to aggressive driving. The first thing you should do if your vehicle in front is signaling and flashing its brake lights is to slow down. Constant rushing, lane jumping, ignoring certain road signs and regulations is called rush-in. Constant ridiculing, criticizing other drivers for self-imposed or self and passengers closing the gap to deny entry into the lane is called total aggression. Don't respond, don't engage, and choose not to be tolerant is a formula for dealing with anger. I need all of you to type in a couple things you learned, and then I'm going to be calling on other people. Please type in what you learned, type in a couple things, and then we're going to get the rest of this done. I did 40. I put the weight on my back. Now it's time for you guys to put the weight on your back. So we talked about some really powerful questions. And I need you to watch this. I need you to understand we're dealing with driving. There's an educational process behind it. You have to learn by doing. It takes about 10 years. So if you're watching this and you're 21, you're 31. If you're watching this and you're 25, you're 35. If you're 27, 37. It takes 10 years. So 10 years to become a good driver. Rain, sleet. Some of you live in very warm weather climates. You haven't been in rain, sleet, or snow. Some of you live in cold weather climates like I do, and you have the 4 seasons. So hopefully you enjoyed this. This is an educational opportunity, and I do appreciate all of you. Watch all my videos.